I'm always there to help and guide my fellow colleagues to come abroad and practice in UK.
I am back with another interview, and this time again with someone in the healthcare industry who's working as a doctor in the NHS, which is the National Health Service of the UK, a government funded medical and healthcare service. To those who don't know me and watching my videos for the first time, I'm Sarika and I make videos from my personal and professional experience to help everyone who are planning to move to the UK either for study or work. So welcome to my channel, Your Knowledge Buddy. So let's get started with today's video and welcome Shubhadeep and get to know his journey in detail. Hi Shubhadeep, welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy and thank you for being part of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to being a part of this video. Thank you.
Shubhadeep, do you want to tell the viewers about yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. My name is Dr. Shubhadeep Boshak. I've come from India, from West Bengal to be specific. I did my MBBS from the SSK Medical College of Calcutta, which is now known as Kolkata, and my post-graduation from Ramakrishna Mission Seva Pratishthan, that is also called known as Shishu Mangal Hospital in Kolkata. My specialty is anesthesiology and critical care medicine. I did my MD over there for 3 years, and then I tried to come abroad and sat in some few exams and appeared in some interviews, and here I am right in front of you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to touch upon that question in my further question. So first question which I'm going to ask now. So the questions which I have compiled is based on the questions which I received from the viewers and subscribers on the comment section. So the first question is, did you have any experience in India before you applied for job in UK?
Yes. I had a 2 year of experience of working as an anesthesiologist and an intensivist in a super specialty hospital in Calcutta before applying for this. I simultaneously applied as well as I continued to gain experience over there because right from starting from the application to getting yourself placed and finally coming here, it takes at least around about 1 year and a half. But in my case, unfortunately, it got extended because of the COVID situation, for which, I was delayed by 6 months because of the travel restrictions and all. So yeah, I had after completing my MD, post MD, I had an experience of 2 years working in India before coming here.
Okay, thank you very much. So Shubhadeep, did you face any rejection before you landed the final job in UK?
Luckily, in my case, I didn't face any rejection. Luckily, I picked up the first job that I got because it clicked. In that sense, you can tell that I'm lucky. Lucky enough, yeah.
Well done, you.
Thank you.
So, how did you find the doctor's job in UK? Did you use the job sites, or did you use like LinkedIn, or did you go to NHS, or did you use any agent?
No, I didn't go through any agent. Actually, they were one or few of my seniors who had come here through this path, and they just told me how to apply. And actually, it's different. I mean, it depends upon whether you want to come to UK after your graduation. I mean, after your MBBS as a general practitioner, or you want to come here as a specialist. So, if you want to come here as a general practitioner after your MBBS, there is a separate pathway. And if you come here as a specialist, which I did, so there is a separate pathway altogether. I came to know from about all these stuff from my seniors. And then, I searched my jobs in two sites, namely indeed.co.uk and trackapplications.jobs, I think. These were the two sites where I posted my CV. But to be honest, I mean, I found my job directly from the Royal College. I had mailed them, and they had replied. I mean, there is a procedure. If you ask, I'll tell you in short detail about it. So I mainly got through the Royal College directly. Yeah.
So what is Royal College? What do you mean by Royal College? Was it your college who was allowing you to do it? Can you?
No. Actually, the thing is that in UK, I mean, all the specialties, they belong to you call it the Royal College. I mean, it's Royal College of Medicine, Royal College of Surgery. In my case, it's Royal College of Anesthesia. It is the main governing body that looks after the academics as well as training of the doctors. Who, I mean, like we have to be for my Indian friends, I would like, just as the Medical Council of India, here we have General Medical Council, like the universities or the boards in India, like the DNB board, which we have, National Board of Examination. It's similar kind here is the Royal College, who accredits the degrees, who certifies the degrees. I mean, you have a degree of, suppose, a National Board of Examinations or in India. Similarly, you have a degree of the Royal College of to whichever specialty you belong to, either anesthesia, surgery, physicians, like this. So it is the main regulatory and the authority, authorizing body. Yeah.
Sorry for asking the question because I'm not from that background, so I'm hearing it for the first
I
time.
understand. Sure. Of course. Of course. That's okay. Yeah.
I can let my subscribers know or also add it later somewhere. And
Sure. Sure.
I just ask a question. So your Indian degree, your MBBS degree, was it equivalent to the UK degree?
No. MBBS, actually, I would like to say here that unfortunately, our Indian degrees are, I mean, if you call it in terms of recognition, there is a dual meaning to it in UK, to be honest. I mean, they do not recognize your degree academically. I mean, you can't, suppose I did my MD or my specialization in India. So whenever I'm coming to UK, they will appoint me in a specialist post. My job profile will be of that of a specialist. But until and unless I clear their exams, they have a separate set of exams over here. Until and unless I come here and clear those exams, I won't be able to, progress or go far high up in my career. Such as when you come here, usually you join either in the lower grades, if you come if you complete your MBBS and come as a general physician, and you join in the middle grades, what we call as the registrars, as I have joined in the middle grade, it's a registrar, and the final grade or the senior most grade are the consultants. So if you come from India, you will be appointed here in the middle grade if you come as a specialist. So they are accepting, acknowledging your specialist skills and whatever you have learned in your specialization in your work. But until and unless you take up their exams here and qualify them, you can't become a consultant in UK. If you don't mind sharing, what exam people have to take to become a consultant or like a senior? Okay. So basically, if you talk about exams, we have to take an exam for coming to the UK. And in UK, if you have to, establish your career and, proceed in your career, just climb the stairs high up and become a consultant and all. To become that, you need to take up what we have here. We have, in my specialty, we have the FRCA, the Fellowship of Royal College of Anesthesia. In surgery, you have FRCS, Fellowship of Royal College of Surgery. So it depends from specialty to specialty. The thing is that if you are doing surgery, FRCS, you can appear for these exams away from India too. I mean, you can give these exams from India, at least part 1 and part 2. Part 3, you have to come to UK to give the final practicals. But in my case, in anesthesia, you have to give all the 3 parts after you have arrived in UK and once you're practicing in UK. So in my case, I had to clear my IELTS exam, which is a must for coming to UK. I mean, no matter in which specialty, which stream you're coming from. And the minimum score that is required in IELTS is an overall score of 8. In my case, I don't know about the other professions, but in my case, if you want to come here as a specialist doctor, your overall score should be above 8.0, and individual score in individual subjects should not be less than 7.5. So that is the cutoff out of 10. So I had to clear my IELTS, and I have come here by a special scheme that is called the MTI program, Medical Training Initiative Program. So this program has been designed to for the doctors of the third world countries or the other countries like India to come and train in UK, learn their specialized skills, develop their skills. And this program is for 2 years. And after that, you have to go back to India if you want to stay here, then within these 2 years, you have to clear one of these exams. I mean, either at least part one of this exam, which consists of 3 parts, part one, part two, and part three. And after you have qualified at least part one here, then you can again apply for a doctor. I mean, here, you coming out of the program, your visa changes. Presently, I have come on tier 5 visa, but when I complete my 2 years, and if I qualify for any part of these exams, then I'll be able to I'm eligible for tier 2 visa, and then I can continue here as a doctor. Yeah.
So after 2 years, you just need to clear one exam, and then you will be given a tier 2 skilled visa, right?
So, yeah, I mean, not within these 2 years. I mean, I can give it anytime. This is a 2-year span within which, yeah, you can give this exam, and once you clear at least part one of this exam, then you can continue as a doctor here. Yeah.
So just one part, if you clear that, you will be able to change your visa, and then you can start practicing as a doctor.
You cannot. It's not about starting to practice. I mean, there is a difference. I mean, as I said earlier, that if you want to become consultant here, there is a training program. I mean, what I did MD over there. So they recognize your skills, but they don't recognize your degree academically. What I mean is that you won't be able to, in India, had I stayed in India with an MD degree, with a few years of experience, I would have become a consultant over there. But here, you won't become consultant automatically if you practice for years. So for that, you need to enter in their postgraduate training program. So if I want to become a consultant here, or anybody who has come here, if he thinks that, okay, there are two ways. Either you can only work here as a doctor and you belong to a particular trust, because here we have NHS trust. We belong to the NHS, the National Health Service, which is divided zone-wise into various. I belong to the Bedfordshire NHS trust. So either you can continue with your tier 2 visa as a trust doctor after clearing only one part of the exam, or you may get into their postgraduate training and you get yourself trained for another 5 years in a particular specialty, and then you become a consultant in this specialty. So am I clear?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Even though I'm not I'm trying to just make notes so that I understand that very well in my head.
Yeah.
Explaining as well. So can I double check, when you said, there are a couple of things which you did before coming to UK. One was the IELTS exam. Was there anything
Yes.
Like, of course you went to Reed and other websites to find a job. So what did you register somewhere else as well? Like you said now, registering in one of your area as a trust. Did you do something else as well?
No, the process of MTI, the scheme through which I came, the program through which I came, MTI, the scheme goes like this: that once you clear your IELTS exam, you need to apply to the Royal College of Anesthesia. They have their HR section. It is called the Global Partnership .uk. Sorry. So you have to directly go to the Royal College website, and you have to apply to the Royal College. You have to mail them along with your CV and along with your IELTS score to the HR department through the Global Partnership. If you search it in the Google by Global Partnership RCOA, anybody can access to their website, and you have to email them that this is my score, this is my CV, and you have to give a brief description about yourself, what you did in that email, and you just ask them to search jobs for you. They do that. That is their job. That is their. They collect the CVs from all over the world, and whenever there is a vacancy in any hospital of the hospitals who require a doctor from this specialty, so it's kind of a bank. So whenever a particular vacancy props up, and they mix and match, and they find that okay, we can send this CV, this profile to this hospital. So like this, they sent my CV to Lieutenant Dunstable University Hospital. They had gone through my profile, they had gone through my CV, they saw my IELTS score, and they finally decided to select me for the interview. So directly I had to appear for the interview, and in the interview there were several others. In my case, most likely they interviewed around 12 maybe, and among them they selected 2 of them. So I was one of the lucky 2 to be selected, thanks to God. Yeah, so in that way, after the interview, after you get selected in the interview, which is really very demanding one. I mean, it lasts quite long, and it's quite demanding, the interview. And once you get through it, and then they send you the offer letter to join here. And once you get the offer letter, then you again go back to the Royal College website, and you have to then send this offer letter as an evidence to them, mail them. Then they will send you this MTI application form, which you have to fill up. You have to deposit a certain amount of processing fees for that, and then you have to give your supporting documents, all the documents, all the degrees that you have. You also need a good standing certificate from your medical council. In my case, it was West Bengal Medical Council, and a good standing certificate from the police. And these are the stuff that will be given in the checklist of the MTI form. So you need to collect all these documents and send it back to them. And once it's done, it takes around 2-3 months for it to be processed. Then they send your profile for GM to the GMC, that is the General Medical Council of UK, like we have the Medical Council of India. That is the licensing body of UK that gives you the license or the registration to practice as a doctor in UK. So yes, so then the next step is the GMC registration, which takes another 2 to 3 months. You have to deposit a fees for that. I mean, it is same everywhere. Like in India, we have to deposit a fees for our registration. It takes 2 to 3 months, and after you are registered with the GMC and you have a full license to practice in UK, it is after that you apply again back to the Royal College for a certificate of sponsorship that we call as COS, and it again takes around 2 to 3 months to get your COS. And once you get your certificate of sponsorship, you can apply for your visa, and yeah, that's it. Once you get your visa, you are all set to fly to UK. Yeah.
You know what?
And by this time, you must have fetched your tickets too. Yeah.
Okay. Can I just tell you, I have never made so many notes when I interviewed people, and I have already made 2-3 notes because I have never doctor.
The honor is all mine. The honor is all mine. Yeah.
Because I'm trying as hard as possible to kind of scribble, through the notes. And can I just talk about a little bit about interview? What was the interview process like? Was it like a Zoom meeting, Skype meeting? How many rounds of interview was it? If you can just shed some light on it, will be really helpful.
Okay, the interview was of almost an hour and a half. It consisted of 3 sections. Number one, there were 3 panels of interviewers. One was from the HR department, and the other was and the other 2 groups were from the specialty to which you belong, you are going to apply. So, the interview is divided into 3 categories. Number one is that they will ask you some general questions, like, why do you want to come in UK, and what is your future goals? What are you planning to do in life? Okay, are you planning to settle down here? Are you planning to take up the exams here and continue here as a consultant, or are you planning to go back after 2 years of your when your program is complete? So these kind of questions, they are general questions. Yeah, and have you been ever out of India, and all these kind of questions. So they will give you an impression, an overall impression of UK, and say, look, this is the overall system, how it works. Are you okay with it? These kind of general questions. So once it is through, then they'll get into your course subject, and they will ask you some course subject questions. So that forms the main bulk of the interview, and it comprises of around, say, an hour or so, and they will ask you various aspects. What I have done, and of course I have to submit my logbook that I did. That every postgraduate trainee, when you are doing MD, you are required to have a logbook which consists that, okay, these are the cases you have done, these are the seminars you have attended, these are the courses you have completed. So you have to submit their logbook. So, and they will interview accordingly. Regarding what achievements I have done, what are the cases I have solved, what are the cases patients I have attended to, and then they will ask me some theory questions. Then they will give you some problems to solve. Some real life practical simulated scenarios, and they will just tell me, okay, this is the case. A patient comes to you with so and so. This is this. So how would you treat the patient? How would you approach? What will be your approach. So this is kind of practical, how they will test that how you treat a patient. I mean, with your knowledge, first they will assess your core knowledge by asking you some theory questions, and once it's done through, then they will see that whether you are able to apply your theoretical knowledge in your practical life in treating a patient. So they will judge your practical sense of, I mean, how you treat a patient and all. So once this is done, then the HR section will, I mean, talk to you about, I mean, what salary you expect and what are the job, what will be your job profile over here, what you are expected to do over here, and all these stuff. What will be your working hours over here? Are you okay with it? And all these stuff. So it's a kind of agreement that you have to agree upon and you have to sign electronically before they give you the appointment. And they will tell you. I mean, they told me that they will let me know in a day or two, and they let me know maybe in 2 days. Within 2 days, they emailed me with my offer letter. Yeah, with my offer letter, and that offer letter contained everything: my working hours, my salary, everything.
Can I just understand what is the working hours of doctors in UK, especially given that the demand
Okay.
last year and even this year is quite high? So have you done like lots of extra hours? What's the process here?
Okay. So usually for the middle grades, for the registrar grades, you have to work 40 hours a week, and it doesn't mean that every week you will be given 40 hours. It depends upon the how the situation is. I mean, some weeks you may be given 36 hours instead of 40. Some weeks you may have to cover 44 hours instead of 40. But overall, in a 6 months period, the number of hours will be 40 into 30 into 6. That number will be fixed. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay. And thank you very much for answering so many questions. And then you have provided so much of detail. I believe it will be useful for people who are especially kind of looking to move from their own country, like India, Pakistan, or
Yeah.
And thank you for enlightening me. I had no idea about how the process works. So you had given
Okay.
process from zero till how you land here. I cannot thank you enough for spending your critical time with us and sharing your knowledge. And if there will
Okay.
be more follow-up question which comes from people, I might reach out to you. I'll try my best to
Sure.
answer based on the notes I have made, and I'll try to answer
Okay.
possible. But if there will be any kind of follow-up questions where I need clarification, I might reach out to you. But I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much. The honor is all mine. And I'm always available for my fellow colleagues who want to get more information about how to come here, what else. If they have any other questions, you can always reach out to me. I'm always there to help and guide, guide my fellow colleagues to come abroad and practice in UK. I'll always be there for you guys. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye. Thanks to Shubhadeep for sharing his story with us, which I know will inspire you guys. So if you guys still have more questions, do let me know in the comment section below, and I'll aim to respond as soon as possible. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and I'll see you soon with my next video. Till then, keep learning.